Ladies and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio. With your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 783. And yes, I'm back, the host Danny, and joining me this week, the whole Gamertag Radio crew. We're all here now, finally, recording an episode of GTR. Let's start with Paris. Paris, what's going on, man?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Danny. Welcome back. How are you?
Good, man. What's up with you, man? What's up with you? I know you've been having issues.
Oh, okay.
I know you wanted to stream.
See, Danny's been gone a few weeks, and he immediately starts putting out my personal business out there on the podcast.
Well,
already.
You're the one. You're the one posting it on Twitter and Facebook, putting
But that's Twitter. That's not the podcast.
Yeah, that's the public. That's the public.
You know what? Welcome back. Welcome back. We're move on to Pete. I'm done.
You have a blue check mark on Twitter. It's everywhere. It's official.
No, I'm good. No, the issue I'm having, which is a little frustrating. So we have Madden 19. I have it on the Xbox One X. So I was going to stream it as a part of EA Game Changers. I was going to stream it, and I go to fire it up yesterday, and my stream's not working. Like OBS isn't working. It's a blank screen. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? Checking all my cables, all that stuff. So then I even fire up because I had the Elgato 4K, the 4K 60 Pro capture card. So I was like, all right, let me fire up the 4K utility thing, the Elgato software, blank screen. I'm doing everything, uninstalling all the software, uninstall the drivers, reinstall it, move the card to another PCI slot, swap all the cables out. Nothing's working. So a little frustrating that it was working fine a few weeks ago and now it's not working at all. So reached out to Elgato and I'm kind of troubleshooting with them in the background to figure out what's happening, and hopefully I get this resolved soon. So. Yes, that's been my issue, Danny, that you put out there to the whole public. Thank you. Again,
it was officially posted on a verified account on Twitter. So I had to say that very quick. And also joining us this week, we have Pete in the house. What's up, Pete?
I am not having issues with an Elgato card now. I actually have to set mine up. I finally reinstalled it into my computer, but I just got to get used to it, right? Because I really don't stream all that often from a console, so it's kind of like new territory for me. We'll see how that goes, because I know I'm contemplating, because I know I just got We Happy Few that I have to review. So shout out to Microsoft and them for sending that out to me. And I'm on the fence. I don't know if I should play it on PC or if I should play it on the console. Knowing me, I'll likely play it on PC. I just think I'm more comfortable now playing it on PC than I am. Whereas like this time last year, I still would have been waffling between, do I want a controller, do I want a keyboard? And I think at this point now, I think that's my prime. I think it's my primary, that's my main, as the kids would say these days.
You know what, like now that I got back, all of us at the same time been receiving a lot of review codes. Like I feel like now and on is when the whole holiday season is about to begin. All these games is coming out early now in August because they don't want to compete with, the games that's coming out in September and October. So far I received a couple games. I received State of Mind, Dead Cells. I have Earthfall. There's a couple ones I can't say. And I know you guys also receive a couple games too, right, Paris? And Pete, you guys receive another ones?
No,
I just said that. He just said he got Madden, and I said I got We Happy Few.
but he has more. He has more. I know it's not only Madden, right? You have more stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yes, Danny. Yes, I do.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Jeez, you guys, man. You know what it is? They miss me so much. They miss me so much that they like to say all these things. Mess around. I'm live on Twitch. Yeah. Whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Come on, people. Wake up.
I just love the...
Wake up. Danny. I'm back.
Yes,
I'm
with
back.
A smile. Yes, Danny.
I'm back.
Yeah, we know you're back. We know.
I know I'm back. I'm back, man. Head over to gamertagradio.com. Post your comments and feedback. Also, you can find us out, subscribe on different podcast platforms. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other podcast directories. Make sure to subscribe and share with your friends.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
Very quick, I want to say this, man, because I just got back from New York. I was up there for almost 3 weeks, and good news. Well, let me start with the bad news first. So I know I've been saying that the movie was part of the competition for a category in the Dominican Film Festival. So they skipped, like during the awards, they skipped our category, and the reason why they skipped it was because there wasn't not enough entries there. I think there was only like 4 or 5 films in total, but everybody else got an award and everything, right? And I went up to the organizers of the film festival, like, "Yeah, what happened with our category and stuff?" So they said that because of that, not enough entries, but they said that they're planning to take the movie to different cities across the U.S. and also international. So they mentioned D.C., L.A. They're also coming out in Miami, I believe in October. They're going to Puerto Rico, Panama, Colombia, Montreal also. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm good with that. If you're taking the movie in other cities, I'm good with that, man. So I'm going to keep everybody posted. I know I've been getting a lot of messages from people that wanted to see the movie in other cities, not in New York, but I'll let you know definitely once I get updates, like the official dates of the other places and stuff. So shout out to Henry, Armando, everybody from the film festival. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot. That was my first official film festival. Met a lot of people there, man. So it was really cool. Really, really cool. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast episodes I recorded over there. What you guys thought about the interview with Jason, man, from Kotaku? That was a lot of fun.
I thought it was a phenomenal conversation. So shout out for the get on that. That was a great one. That was a really good one. I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was actually looking forward to it because I know Jason from the 2 times that I have met with him, he always seems like a really down to earth guy. Yeah, he's Jason from Kotaku, etc. But when you get down to actually talking to him, and you break down that barrier of he's just another person. He's just another guy on the internet, right? He's just like us. He's puts his pants on one leg at a time, etc. It's like it humanizes him, right? It takes away that mysticism of being a quasi celebrity, et cetera, or someone that's super well known within the gaming industry. So it's good to hear him and hear his viewpoint on things. It was great.
Yeah, one thing I learned about the interview that he's one of those people that it's cool that he posts like articles about leaks and all that. But he's more about getting great content. He just posted because that's part of his job, But yeah, he's not really a big fan of the whole leaks, man. I was very surprised when I was talking to him. I was like, oh, okay, because I told him, dude, I know you as the Assassin's Creed leak guy, man. Every year before Ubisoft announced an Assassin's Creed, you always post it, But yeah, he's not really a big fan of that, man. Very surprising, man. But yeah, he's still working on his second book now. Comes out next year. That's cool. Really cool. Anything else, Paris? You good before we go to the...
No, just echo what Pete said. I thought the interview was interesting, and just his process of, obviously he has insider information as people coming to him with given information about certain games or things that are coming out, and the ones that they choose to run with and the ones that they don't just depends on, do they feel it's actually newsworthy? Like, because if I remember correctly, he said they knew about Odyssey, but chose not to say anything because it was like, okay, of course there's another Assassin's Creed coming out. So that wasn't worth posting about. And it's just funny how honest he was that their relationship with Bethesda is just complete toast. And you can tell there's definitely some animosity there for sure. That it's been, God, how long has it been now? 20
years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. What, since 2013 or something, right? 2014,
yeah,
something like that. But anyways, there's definitely animosity there. So it's just interesting how it works. And I remember at the time, saying on the podcast that I felt that, okay, if you want to leak something, if you want to run with that information, be prepared to accept the consequences of it.
Yep.
And it still doesn't feel to me that they fully accept the consequences of it. Understand that you are taking that risk that the publisher may want to end a relationship with you, which they did. And obviously they've moved on at this point, but you can still tell that it's a sore spot.
And it's interesting too, because he mentioned that he got the information about Fallout 76 and he never really bothered to announce it because they were going to announce it like in less than 24 hours. But he did mention that once he announced that this game was more of an online RPG game, and everybody flipped out and started attacking him and everything. This is before even Bethesda talked about it, So that was very interesting. Very, very interesting. But it was cool. It was great vibes. I liked the building. I got to hang out there for a few minutes and stuff. And hopefully we could do that again in the future, man. When the second book comes out. So all right, so let's talk about some news here. So I know Paris is the one that's always saying Nintendo release a virtual console for the Switch. You're wasting your time. He's saying that that's not a no audience about people that like the old school gaming stuff, like NES and Super NES, right? But June 29th, Nintendo re-released the Nintendo Classic, the NES Classic, for only 2 days before the month of July. And can you believe that this outsold PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch in just 2 days compared to them in the whole month of June. So the audience is still hungry for old gaming systems. It's not getting old at all. What are your thoughts about this, Micah? This is the reason why they're not releasing the virtual console. They're making money like this. Nintendo's doing okay. Your thoughts about this?
Well, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I still want the virtual console. I don't want them to keep iterating on these little mini console things. I think the ultimate solution is still take all these back catalog games and put them on virtual console and we play them all on the Switch. That's what I want ultimately. But I get the nostalgia factor of the NES Classic, the Super NES Classic. They're probably going to do the N64 Classic, on and on. And people are going to buy it up, especially around the holidays. So, the fact that it's selling out at the pace that it is doesn't surprise me. I still stand by the fact that I got the NES Classic in my house. It was a hit for about a few weeks, and that thing probably has like 50 feet of dust on it at this point because no one touches it anymore. I think that nostalgia wears off pretty quick.
Yeah, I still play with my Super NES more than the NES because there's more games that I like there. But yeah, they're doing good, man. Now I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo during their Nintendo Direct, which I think is happening soon in a couple weeks. I don't know if it's in August or early September. Maybe they'll announce the N64 Classic. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I know you guys not gonna care because you're like, nah, I'll wait for the virtual console version to come out. So, but I think it will sell, man.
If it ever comes out.
I think there was a trademark a couple months ago for the N64. I think I read that somewhere online, so it's possible that they might come out again. And I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a long line of people just waiting for that console too. So we'll see. All right. So speaking on that, I know that a lot of us still playing, all these free to play games. I forgot to put this in our topics and stuff here, but very quick. So Fortnite, Paladins, I think there's other games that is free to play. They're for the Nintendo Switch and of course other consoles and stuff. So next month is when Nintendo is launching their online service officially. Is launching next month. Still waiting on details about that. So whoever has a Switch and you put up, let's say, Mario Kart or Splatoon 2, if you go to their eShop, at the bottom it will say that you need in the future the online service once it launches is just like a free version, etc. And then if you do the same thing and you go for you search for Fortnite or Paladins, that information is not there. So now what everybody's saying from the Nintendo gaming community is that once the online server comes out, you don't need to pay to play online. You can still play Fortnite, Paladins, and other games totally for free without the online service. And I think that's pretty cool. I think as of right now, Xbox is the only console that if you don't have Xbox Live, you can't play Fortnite or Paladins, which I think is stupid in my opinion. But I think they should definitely change that. Because I think PlayStation 4 without PSN, you can still play Fortnite online, no issues. So I think that's pretty cool. Your thoughts about that?
No, I agree. I mean, Xbox should change that. I mean, if it's free to play, you shouldn't have to subscribe to the online service to be able to do it, because that's kind of the whole point of it being free to play, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. They still getting money from that from that game, a percentage every time somebody buy V-Bucks. So why not?
Yeah, I'm curious if Microsoft is going to reverse its position on that, simply because with all of this, with all of the work that Phil's been doing to try to separate themselves from the negativity, right? They've been forward with the cross-platform or the cross-platform saves or cross-play initiatives. Curious to see if maybe they start to remove that paywall requirement, make a modification to Xbox Live, right? And their service in general. If it's free to play, then there's no paywall required. Obviously if it's a paid game, etc., then, that's where the modification comes in, and you're required to have a subscription. It makes sense, and be noted that the Nintendo component, it's some games, it's not all of them, but I don't know if it has been 100% confirmed by Nintendo that they're doing that, or it's just the interpretation from somebody that read the subscription online information.
Well, I think I haven't heard anything from them yet. Every Nintendo blog been saying the same thing, that it looks like it might happen like that. You still could play the game without the service, so that's no official confirmation yet from Nintendo, but it looks like it is, man.
No, I mean it makes sense, right? It's just, I think it's smart business. I'd like to see Microsoft reverse its position on it and make a modification. I think that'll go a long way towards repairing some of the ill will that has been built up over the last couple of years. It starts bringing people more over to the positive, making, the positive commentary on Xbox. It still has they're going to be their fair share of anti-platform, rhetoric. Everybody seems to be doing that on Twitter these days, where, you're sword and shielding, you're caping your favorite console. But I think at the end of the day, I think Phil and the boys and girls over there at Microsoft, I think it would be a smart move. I think it'd be a good move for them, right? It just adds, one more star to their shield. So we'll see.
I mean, look, man, Fortnite is the biggest game right now, period. So the chances of them making that change because the gamers are being vocal about it, I could see that happening. Definitely. Pete, I definitely need your opinion about this. So Epic Games finally announced that Fortnite's coming out for Android, but they're not going to have the game available at the store, the Google Play. They're going to have the file available on their official website where people could go there and download the file to the devices. And the reason why they did that is because I believe they have to pay like a 30%. Every time somebody pays, they have to give like a 100% back to Google. So now doing this outside of Google Play, very interesting and at the same time kind of scary, because all these young kids are going to open up the phone, making more available, because it's open source, right? The Android. But this could get a lot of these hackers, man, to hack the phone, and I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of when people do that, man. Like companies that have the app available outside of Google Play. I like it to have it there because to me it's more safe, it's official, because Apple is very strict when it comes to that stuff, man. So what are your opinions about that, Pete? Because I'm not a fan of that at all.
Well, that's part of the allure of going with an Android device. You have the freedom of side loading, which is what it's called in that space. Side loading applications without essentially bypassing the official application marketplace, right? I know you and I, me in particular, I used to side load and flash ROMs and update my phone 2-3 times a day, just either looking for optimizations or visual improvements, etc. of my Android phone. iPhone and their closed ecosystem, it's a good and a bad, right? Good because you have that security, you have that fail-safe of knowing that for the most part, I'm not going to say that they 100% block everything, but for the most part, Apple's really good about making sure or reviewing the security parameters of applications in their iTunes marketplace. By offering this outside of the Google Play Store, yes, it removes that 30% requirement of having to give up those points to Android for in-app purchases. Because obviously the game is free. They're not going to make anything on that. But where they make all their cash is, whether it's V-Bucks or Battle Pass, et cetera, and they don't want to give that up. The other thing that they said is they wanted to be able to give freedom to the player. I don't know how much freedom you're giving to them, as long as the person downloading the app is cognizant of the fact that it's coming from an Epic website and not some hot linked site on a forum because they did a Google search and somebody else SEO beat out Epic's, right? So in that regards, yes, then the player, the consumer at that point is taking on the risk of not going through the actual Epic download platform. And at the same time, PC players are doing the same thing. If they tried to download, Fortnite from somewhere else, the only requirement therefore being is you would have to have the Epic loader or game launcher, whatever it's called, to fire off the game and connect. So I don't have a problem with them doing that because at the end of the day, businesses are in it to make their money. 30% is still a significant amount of cash flow when you're talking about DLC and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Let them get that money. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they're the juggernaut. So
yeah, definitely. But I was more talking about the young kids that don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just downloading because they're just searching through Google, and us, us that we're older. Yeah, we're kind of careful with that because I downloaded Amazon app that originally it was available through Google Play, but Amazon decided to take it out from there and have it their official website. I was talking about more about that, like just the younger crowd that they don't know what the hell they're doing. They just search and download. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, I know, and I mentioned that it's up to the consumer at that point. If you're talking about kids who are unsuspecting and doing that, then that's where the parent has to come in and be monitoring what the child is doing on the phone, not downloading some form of malware. The next thing you know, that parent's personal information is all over the internet because the kid is downloading it. That at the end of the day is still up to the responsibility of the consumer. You can't put that responsibility in the hands of a 9-10-year-old who just wants to play Fortnite. You know what I mean? And I get that. That's the risk you take of playing with an Android phone. And I mean, you mentioned Amazon and their marketplace. They did that more so because they had a competing device coming out and they wanted their marketplace to be separate and apart from the Google Play marketplace. You can still uninstall it and sideload applications. I mean, that's the glory of having an Android. You have that freedom. You're not stuck or locked into the ecosystem of, say, an iTunes marketplace, etc. I still don't think it's a bad thing. Again, responsibility is a big thing. It's a big word, and with it comes the responsibility of making sure you don't blow up your personal information or give your
Be careful about it.
With security, and we've got the security engineer in Paris here, so. I'm sure. Well, and again, he's on the iPhone, so he's not going to be as concerned as say Danny Pena on his Android.
I think Paris tried. Did you try it on Android before, Paris? Or
Why
you were
putting
always
my personal
iOS?
business out there again?
Because
Love doing
again,
this.
again, Paris. That's what happens when you're a podcaster. I'm putting your business out there, man. No, but on the real, didn't you have an Android?
No, yeah,
device or no?
I did because I got the OnePlus One when it first came out, and then I wound up getting the LG G6. And to be honest with you, I was perfectly fine on Android. I had no issues at all. It was my freaking wife that made me go back to Apple because she wasn't getting all my texts, or I wasn't getting all of hers because of the stupid iMessage. You know, going back and forth. Sometimes texts are getting dropped. So she was like, you need to get back on the iPhone because I'm on it, all your friends are on it, and your children are on it, and we can't communicate with you. So
You know what it was? She wanted to make sure that she was getting that read delivered receipt on your text
basically.
messages.
Oh yes, that's another one. Oh, he read it. Okay.
But
He left me
you know,
on red.
like
God damn
just
it.
talking with the routing and everything. I'm so like I used to jailbreak all the time. I used to do all that stuff all the time. I'm at the point now, just the phone just freaking work. I don't need all the extra stuff. I just give me a phone that works. And at this point, I'm pretty much in the Apple ecosystem. Matter of fact, I'm still on the 6S Plus, and I think I'm going to upgrade this year when the new ones come out. I think I'll get a new one.
Cool. You're not a fan of the iPhone X?
Well, that's what I mean. I wasn't going to get the first one because I was guaranteed there's going to be bugs with it. So now this is year 2 of it. I'll probably wind up getting one. There's a rumor that it's a 6.5-inch one coming out. I'll probably get that one.
Okay. That's cool. All right, so let's go with the next topic here. The fans, BioWare fans, been very vocal lately. There's people excited about Anthem, but man, where is the Mass Effect? Where's Dragon Age, right? And BioWare confirmed that they have a team working on those 2 games. I think that's pretty cool, very cool. But I hope they learned their lesson from the last Mass Effect game, because that was it was a disaster in that one. So your thoughts about this, guys? That they're working on Mass Effect and Dragon Age. That's not coming out in a long time. And do you think is it coming out for this generation or for the next generation?
Next generation. They're done with this generation. And I'll say this. I don't think any of that matters if Anthem fails. Because I despite what people may be currently saying right now, if Anthem completely flops, BioWare as a studio is in trouble. My opinion. I have no inside sources or anything. I think EA would look at BioWare as a whole and probably focus them specifically on something else instead of them going back to some of their traditional IPs or just shutter the studio altogether. I know that may sound crazy to some people, but what was the last BioWare game that had you jumping up and down excited?
ME3.
Seriously.
For me, I think it was Dragon Age. What was the last Dragon Age?
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, that was really good. And
that was their best one. That was their best one. Mass
before
Effect 2 and
that,
3.
in my opinion, I think Mass Effect 2, in my opinion, before that one.
For me, it was Mass Effect 2. I mean, 3 was okay. Never got into Dragon Age at all. But Mass Effect 2 was the last big BioWare game that, I mean, again, Mass Effect 2, in my opinion, is one of the top 5 games of all time. But I don't know. I'd be curious financially, sales-wise, how well the last few BioWare games have done. I mean, we obviously know that the Star Wars MMO, I mean, I guess it's still around, right? But it's not making huge waves or anything. I think, obviously, we know what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. A lot depends on Anthem. And I just right now don't have any confidence in that game. Past, when it comes out in February, there'll probably be a lot of buzz. But I think a few months after that, people are going to move on and start playing other stuff. So we'll see.
Even if they announce a lot of content coming out for the game, you think it's still going to be?
Well, unfortunately, I know things that I can't talk about, and no, I don't have confidence. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, damn. Paris is coming hard this week. He's like,
well, no, it's not even. He's not really wrong about it. I mean, I don't know if EA would shutter the studio completely. I think that would still be a bold move. Wouldn't be surprised considering the amount of studios that EA has shut down in the past. But I agree with them wholeheartedly that Anthem right now is their first and primary focus, and it has to succeed or it becomes a major risk in general for BioWare as a studio, right? Mass Effect will definitely hinge on the success of Anthem, and I think it comes at a price. I mean, does BioWare need to have a Mass Effect and Anthem at the same time? You know what I mean? Like, aren't those two... I know they're not the same style or the same type of games, but do you want two space opera style games from the same studio coming out at the same time? Isn't that competition within yourself?
I don't think so in the instance that obviously Anthem is more of a cooperative game that requires you to play with other people in a quote unquote open world type of thing, whereas Mass Effect is going to be a more story-driven RPG style game. I do think they could both exist at the same time. And because look, Anthem is something that they're talking a 10-year plan with. It's an ongoing thing. Whereas, Mass Effect is going to be serialized. You're going to get one game, you play it to its end. It may have a multiplayer component to it, which would give it some extra legs, but then you would have to wait a few years to get the quote unquote next chapter of that story. I mean, there's not going to be any added on DLC that's going to expand that current story beyond just little things, but it's not going to take you to the next big epic. There's going to be like a big expansion pack to whatever the next Mass Effect is going to be. It would just be smaller DLC. So I do think they both could exist. I just think you already rushed and damn near ruined the IP forever with Andromeda. Hey, which I told you something's wrong with that game. And now we see with Anthem, we just don't have enough information on it. I mean, I still need to see more. I still worry greatly about its long-term in-game content. I just don't know what EA and BioWare is doing. I really wish they would get out in front of this and talk about it more. Obviously, Gamescom is about to come up. PAX is about to come up. These are their opportunities to show us more Anthem and to talk more about it. I just don't have confidence. I want to be wrong. I want to come February 22nd, 2019 and say, wow, I was wrong. Anthem is amazing. I can't stop playing it. This is great. And then 2 months down the road after launch, I want to still say, wow, Anthem is great. I can't believe they have all this in-game content and all these guns and weapons and gear and things that I'm chasing that I just got to have. Dude, the raid is amazing. I want to be able to say these things. I just don't have confidence it's going to happen.
Now, Paris, let's say that, let's make believe February comes and this game is huge. A lot of sales, people talking about it, great reviews everywhere. I feel like if that happens, I don't see Mass Effect and Dragon Age coming out at all because maybe the publisher is going to say, you know what, BioWare, we're making a lot of money with this. Concentrate on just working on Anthem. Forget about Mass Effect and Dragon Age. That's possible too.
That very well could happen. That could also be the result. Say it's just an overwhelming success to the point where it's like EA is like, let's not mess with this. The studio's been focused on this one game. Let's keep them focused on this one game. No, we don't want you doing Mass Effect. We don't want you doing Dragon Age or a new IP. We want you to focus on this cash cow because it has been such a great success. That is also a possibility. I don't think realistically EA would do something like that. I think they would allow BioWare to do other things. And again, I'm just speaking, I don't know anything, but what you're proposing, Danny, I don't see it. Because let's also remember this. Let's also remember when The Division came out back in 2016. It actually set records sales wise at launch. Mm-hmm. It was the post launch that hurt that game, and then obviously Massive had to scramble and get it to where it is today. I just wonder if BioWare is going to have that kind of leash to be able to do that. Where let's say it launches to huge numbers, but then people quickly run out of things to do. Is EA going to give them a long enough leash to actually fix any issues, add content to the game in the long term? If sales start to slow down, people aren't playing it anymore, and it tanks and social media people are complaining about it. Will they stick behind BioWare and allow them to fix the game and get it to whatever the community feedback is going to be?
My concern is the similarity of which, and you brought up The Division. It's a perfect example. I'm curious if them having that 3-week, like as you call it, the leash, the 3-week byline or the 3-week timeline of sales of Anthem, and then obviously Division 2 comes out March 15th. Is that how much success is that Anthem is going to actually have? Like, how much of that launch of the Division 2 will it affect Anthem in general?
Yeah, 100%. I've been saying that for the longest. They literally got 3 weeks to prove themselves, to keep people around, because I think on March 15th, when the Division 2 launches, if people are already scratching their heads going, okay, now what do I do? They're like, screw this. I'm just going to go play the Division 2. Because at least Ubisoft and Massive, like I said, what was the first things out of their mouths when we sat down in that presentation? In-game. That was how they started the conversation about the Division 2 is in-game. Yep. In-game content. Here's what you're going to do post-campaign. And that to me is the key to these looter shooter games. It ain't about what you do on day one. Of course, everyone's going to be, oh, it's great. Oh, amazing. What am I doing 3 weeks later? What am I doing
as soon as the honeymoon period's over?
Exactly.
Well, I think
now
I think BioWare in general. We've brought up Dragon Age. At the end of the day, it's the right time though for BioWare to work on a new Dragon's Age. It's 13, 14. So we're talking almost 5 years now since Dragon Age Inquisition. I want to say it's 4 years. It's a good time for them to do that. I think what's going to hurt them is the loss of Mike Laidlaw or something like that. He was a creative director behind Dragon Age Inquisition. Him leaving the company because their team had shrunk so small and they didn't know what direction that they were going to go. I think it's going to hinder a new Dragon Age, but I think that's a good opportunity for them. Going back to the Mass Effect question, do we maybe just see a remaster instead? Do we see the return of Shepard eventually? And again, I think a lot of that, as we said, is going to hinge on whether Anthem is a success.
My question to you guys: what are the chances of Anthem being delayed all the way to like holiday season?
At this point, I doubt it. I think there's obviously a reason that they're rushing to this February date. I think there's just financial deadlines, all that kind of stuff. I think factors into that. So I don't think they're going to delay it. I think we're going to get what we get on February, and then the race will be on to deliver post-launch content, because that's going to be the key.
So you don't think that there's a possibility at all of them postponing it? Like, you think they've knocked their stake into the ground and like, we're sticking by this date and that's it?
Yeah,
fail or flop. It doesn't matter.
So.
You know what?
I'm
thinking about it. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say I would love to see it get delayed. I really would. I would love to see them say we're not going to bring it out until holiday 2019, because I think that'll give them enough time to make sure they have the content. I just don't think they have the content. Bottom line, that's my only real complaint about what Anthem is I think once the credits roll on the campaign, I'm going to be standing around going, okay, now what? Replay it again? What am I chasing? What am I doing? What is their in-game plan? The fact that they have not talked about it openly, and here we are in August, is a problem to me. It just is, because when I look, again, I'll just take it back to Destiny. Destiny was talking about the raid and all that from day one. Yeah, obviously we know all the mistakes Bungie made with that original game, but at least they were talking about something to do after you finish the main part of the game, which is what originally saved that game back in 2014. The Division tanked a little because they didn't have a plan. And like I said, I spotted that in the preview event. Wait a minute. They don't have a plan. At least not with the sequel. They got a plan. And when I listen to BioWare now, I don't hear them having a plan. I hear them making innuendo and whispering in their Discord chat, but I don't see them openly talking to IGN or Polygon or someone like that. Like, here's our roadmap. Here's what we're going to do. They're not doing that.
The surprise is they've seen the successes. They've seen the failures of titles of which they're trying to emulate. Destiny, Division. You see what they're doing. When I mean by campaign is you see how they've been marketing the title. Here's the end game. Here's what you'll be doing 3 weeks after the game or 6 months after the game. And all we're getting right now is crickets and random Discord links and something potentially on Reddit or Reset Era or something like that. I don't understand why they're not following that same discussion model for their title as others. I don't see why all of the secrecy.
You know what I was thinking right now? That the reason why this game is not going to get delayed, remember next year, the next Star Wars movie comes out. Hopefully, I think it's December.
That's not
so
BioWare,
most likely, no, but it's EA. So what's going to happen is November, they release the next Star Wars game a month before the movie releases, and go from there. Because I think that's going to be the game for 2019 is that new Star Wars game that Respawn is working on. That's what I think. Thoughts? Yes, no?
No, I mean, that obviously is a possibility. But I think, I don't know why we're talking so much about freaking Anthem, but I think they could still put out in like a September or something like that and still have enough space between, that and whatever the next Star Wars game. But you're right. I mean, of course EA is going to have a Star Wars game when Episode 9 comes out next year. But to me, I don't think you need to rush it out in February. I just think there is some kind of, end of fiscal year type deadline that game has to come out. That's what I think.
That's what it is.
Is why it's coming out.
Yeah, because that's typically what March, April.
Yeah,
that first quarter of 2019 is going to be their fiscal year. So that could be a definite reason as to why they're trying to get it out based on a specific. Maybe there was some contractual obligation. Obviously, we don't know. We don't know those behind the scenes, underpinnings. But I would love to see this title get delayed. And I mean, that's possible. I mean, what Danny is saying is 100% correct. It's possible that there could be they don't want it to conflict with their Star Wars title coming out, but I think they need to push it back. They need to delay it, man.
Well, enough of Anthem Talk Radio. Let's go with fan mail. It's time for fan mail.
Fan mail at gamertagradio.com.
All right. We haven't done an official fan mail in a long time. 'Cause last month we were, reading from the giveaway and stuff on Moot. So, all right, so we have voicemails, we have emails. Remember, everyone, if you're listening to this, make sure to send your questions, your feedback, and actually any games that you guys recommend for us to check out, and also the listeners, call us, let us know. Let us know in the voicemail or email. All right, so Pete, you want to play the first voicemail?
Here we go.
Hey, what's up, Gamertag? So my name is Jeff from DFW, Texas. I've called a couple times. I figured I'd introduce myself this time just because I have somewhat of a personal question to ask you guys. And I hope that we can maybe hear this voicemail on a show that has the three of you guys, just because I'd like to hear everybody's answer. So when it comes to character customization in a video game like Grand Theft Auto Online or Skyrim or, any of those types of games, is there an aesthetic that you guys generally stick to when making your character? For instance, I have buddies who try and recreate their own face or their own person inside of the video game. But I also have friends who, and myself included, who take that as an opportunity to maybe be somebody that they aren't generally. So, for instance, in an RPG game, I like to lean towards making an old man character, big gray beard, and maybe a bald head. He's a seasoned war vet or something like that. And when it comes to games like Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row, with a huge catalog of different hats and jackets and backpacks and stuff, is there a specific item that you guys like to cling to? An example of that would be I watch a YouTuber, H2O Delirious. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. And hockey mask is kind of his icon. Any game that a hockey mask is available, he puts it on his character. So I guess I'm just curious as to what you guys do whenever you're making your characters, what they generally look like, and if there's an item that you kind of take as your, like call sign kind of thing. But I don't know. I hope you guys can answer it. And like I said, I'd like to hear all three of you guys. So appreciate it again. Keep up the good work. And congrats, Danny, with all of your film festival stuff. And you've been making some pretty big steps. So congrats. Keep it up.
Thank you, Jeff, from Dallas, Fort Worth. I'd say for me, it's dependent on the game itself. For example, I think for me, it's based on the time period, the setting, I'll try to create something that would kind of fit towards that time period and always add like some kind of personal flair. Typically for me, that personal flair is something akin to like white or silver hair, and then do something crazy. Whether it's like some kind of like face paint or like a scar going across the face. But for the most part, most of my characters, you'll always see like white hair, white eyes, or like something like that. Something that you wouldn't normally see. That's the only thing for me. Other than that, I don't know about you guys.
Well, for me, it's a white Latino bald guy all the time. But the thing that I'm always looking around for, if they have like stuff to put in the character, hoodies, hats, sometimes backpacks. That's me all the way. Now, tattoos, not a fan of that. I never added that to my character at all. But I'll take it back. When I used to play Final Fantasy 2 and 3 back in the old days for like the Super Nintendo and stuff, what I used to do is like when you get your character, you have a team. Depending on how it is, the characters, if some of them, like I like to learn more about like the story about them, like the personality. Depending on that, I also would change the name of the characters to like my family and friends. I do that a lot too. So sometimes I don't pick the main character as me. I'll probably pick somebody that maybe is kind of similar to me personality wise, and then I'll go with that. So what about you, Paris?
I typically will just make myself. I just make a black guy, bald head, whatever. Trying in as close to my image as possible. But what I've been doing lately is actually I make a female character. Usually black, but I make a female character, and I'll go through these games as female, like the Division as an example. I'm a black female in that. I think what he's saying in the voicemail. Yeah, like I said, I try to go to my image, but it also gives you the opportunity to do something different as well in these games, and I think it's a good thing to explore those options.
Yeah, and I think the conversation we were having a couple months ago, Paris, remember that you said about creating a female character in Cyberpunk instead of a male version? I think we were having that conversation too back. Like
Cyberpunk 2077 as an example. Yeah, like I'm thinking I would go with a female option in that game. I think I would like to explore that version of going into that city and that world, especially with how deep dive CD Projekt Red will probably go with some of the sexism and everything that you'll see in it. I think it would be interesting to explore the game from that front versus just doing the standard, male option.
Did you guys try playing Mass Effect? Did you also pick the female Shepard or the male one?
I did both.
Both?
My original runs through Mass Effect was as male Shepard, but like Mass Effect 2, I also ran through it again as female Shepard. And Jennifer Hale is just so awesome as a voice actress that I actually wound up preferring her over the male Shepard. But male Shepard was my primary.
Okay. What about you, Pete? No?
What? I already answered this.
No, but the male female, Mass Effect. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't even remember. I think I went with a male character in 3. Remember, I fell asleep the first hour of Mass Effect 1. I don't even think I played Mass Effect 2 because I just didn't want to. I was too triggered by Mass Effect 1. I was like, I don't want to play this if I'm going to fall asleep again. And then knowing the changes of 3, I think I played a male character. I don't think I swapped. I don't think I went femshep.
Cool. Interesting question. Interesting answer, man. So thanks for the question, man. So we have another voicemail?
Yep. We have one more.
All right. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, Gamertag Radio? I hope you brothers are doing well. This is Keon calling from Baltimore. I just wanted to get you guys' opinion on the digital games front really quickly. Some news just came out today that GameStop will be stopping its Elite program, which would take 20% off of used games and something else it would do. But also, I just found out not too long ago that Best Buy, when they had a program, they actually stopped their program as well, which you could get 20% off of new games. And so did Amazon. They shut theirs down, to my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But this really got me to thinking that all of these companies that have tried to move physical games, taking an additional 20% off, in some cases have not been able to sustain the foot traffic. And we just found out a day or two ago that PlayStation's digital sales numbers of their games is up by I think 40%. Correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhere around there, some big numbers. So my question to you guys is, how much longer do you think games will be sold physically? I mean, I understand that you have I don't know at this point. I just wanted to get you guys' opinion. People think that Microsoft is maybe jumping the gun on the Scarlet, and we don't have all of the details. But just wanted to get you guys' opinion on that. Looks like we're going all digital maybe sooner than we thought, people. Who knows? But thank you guys for all of the hard work. Congratulations, Danny, on your award. You guys are amazing, and you guys take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.
Keon, it's always amazing hearing him come in, and I just love the Twitch response also, because the chat explodes. Keon,
yeah. No, but you always ask some great questions. So.
Yeah, no. Always thank you again, always for listening and always coming in and calling in with a question for us. We really do appreciate it. Digital, I think, is just it's a foregone conclusion. I think it's just the way to go at the end of the day, right? I mean, you think about the numbers, 2.5 billion gamers around the world. We're talking was it 75 billion in sales overall last year? And you think about it, 80% of that total revenue comes from software sales. It's definitely a trend that's going upwards. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I know Amazon made some changes too a couple months ago that, yes, you could buy a game, you could pre-order a game, you could buy there cheaper through Prime, right? But if it's I think an HD remaster of an old game or something, that doesn't count. It's only brand new games that you actually do that. I know they made the changes maybe 2-3 months ago, something like that. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think digital next generation is gonna be legit, man. Officially. I see more people buying digital games more than the physical ones, man. So look, this generation, I think I have the most games that I have. It's all digital, the majority of them. So it's not working for them, man. I know GameSpot making that change, it's gonna hurt them even more. I think. Well, because I mean, what else they gonna do, man? To actually get people to buy games, because even if they have special pre-order stuff that you'll get, let's say a beta or something, I think it's not even enough, man.
I don't even think our infrastructure in this country is even ready for an all digital ecosystem at this point, though. I mean, there's still people that live in rural areas, I don't even want to say a name for fear of bad mouthing the city, right? But you have somewhere in the middle of Idaho or something where you're surrounded by the mountains. You don't have that solid cable or fiber infrastructure as you would in a suburban or city, and you might have data caps. I mean, yes, I'm lucky to have unlimited data. I pay for it, but I'm lucky enough to have the infrastructure because, from where I live, to be able to support unlimited download. So I'm not restricted in that case, and it's not just somebody rural. If you've got someone who lives on an island, or you live somewhere else that doesn't support unlimited data, you're limited in that respect. Maybe they've got satellite, internet. They might not be able to do that. I think we had a caller a year ago where they're limited to X amount of gigs. I think it's 30 gigs, and that equals one game a month or something like that. I can't remember. So you have to think about that. That's a big negative towards going the all digital route. As great as that sounds, until the infrastructure, not just here but elsewhere as well, are able to support that, there's always going to be a requirement to have those disc-based games.
Sometimes you even have a choice. That's the only option you have. So you have to go with that too. There's no competition around that area or that country, so. Paris?
I feel like we've talked about this a lot already. I don't want to just keep repeating the same things over and over. It's like Pete said, we're not ready in the United States anyways for an all digital future. But at the same time, companies like GameStop, they're going to go away in a few years. I mean, the writing's on the wall. You can see it already of what's happening, just all the gimmicks and everything that they have to do to keep you in the store. You know, the people that can buy games online, buy them online, be it physical or digital. They're not going to the brick and mortar stores anymore. The pre-order bonuses, in my opinion, are the last ditch effort to keep that foot traffic in the store, to keep people buying physical games. I mean, we will get to a point in this country where it will be all digital, and just bottom line, these kind of stores will go away. I found that if I do buy a physical copy of a game, it's through Amazon, because like I said, if you pre-order it, you get that, in your Prime member, you get that discount. And that obviously goes a long way, and that gives you an incentive. And along with the Prime shipping and the day and date release that you'll get it the day that it released, stuff like that. Why would I go to GameStop to get anything? Just why? There's no reason for me to go when I can get the game cheaper online and I get it the same day that it releases.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. That's why Toys R Us went belly up.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be a forward-moving trend. It's not just going to be the effect on video games. It's overall elsewhere. You think of the big brick and mortar malls that we all as kids used to frequent and live at. You know, whether it was down south, whether here in Florida, elsewhere. The malls was, those were built out to be so huge to support such a large amount of foot traffic, because the kids would go there on, Thursday night, Friday nights and weekends and stuff like that. And they're almost half empty now these days, and half the stores are gone because everybody goes shopping online. Why do I want to go drive 20, 30 minutes, fight for parking in the hot sun to walk into the mall when I can do the exact same thing online? And if I've got, like, let's say Amazon Prime or, Blockbuster accounts, et cetera, you get a discount. You get free shipping. You don't even have to leave the comfort of your sofa, chair, or whatever. Why leave at that point? And then, there's the arguments, get outside and physically see people. But I mean, if you could do the exact same thing and never leave the comfort of your air conditioning, why bother?
Yeah. Is there any other questions guys want to read, or we're good?
Do we have any fan mail?
Well, let's do this one. I got one because you weren't here last week, Danny. So actually, we can have a conversation about this. So from our Discord, this is Sigmund Slim. I hope I'm saying it right. I don't know.
Please do that again. Please do that again.
No, I'm not doing it again. So with the rumors of Microsoft releasing 2 SKU next-gen consoles, one cloud-based and one traditional console, what's keeping Xbox One X gamers from feeling burned? Microsoft's marketing for the Xbox One X was for the most hardcore Xbox gamer. It's a safe bet that Scarlett will be more powerful than the One X. How do you think Microsoft has to market the new Scarlett box, not the streaming device, to consumers that basically just bought the hardcore box, the Xbox One X? It's funny, because I've been thinking that in my head as well. I mean, obviously it's 2 years from now. So by the time we get to Scarlett, Xbox One X will be 3 years old. It has been marketed as a quote unquote Xbox One X family. So you will have had 3 years within the Xbox One ecosystem with this console. And yeah, as we stand today, it is the most powerful console on the market and will be until 2020 when these next gen consoles come out. Having purchased one, not at $500, but having purchased one at a discount 3 years from now, I'm not going to feel, or 2 years from now, excuse me, I'm not going to feel slighted if I have to go to the next gen console, because it's a choice. I don't have to get it. I mean, I'll have PC and all that too, but that's just me in my own personal use case. I can understand people that only buy one console. Say you're just dedicated to Xbox, you bought the original Xbox One, and then you upgraded to Xbox One X. Now you're being asked to probably drop another $400 to $500 again to get the next generation console. The marketing is going to be key on what they do. They're really going to have their messaging right, and they're going to have to show you why you need to upgrade again to get the whatever the next Xbox is going to be. And I still go back to what Phil Spencer said a few years ago. No one gets left behind. So will the Xbox One X be able to play these next gen console games? Or will you have to get whatever the next Xbox is, be it the cloud one or the traditional one, to be able to play these next Xbox games? Because if you don't, maybe at launch you don't go out and get Scarlet right away. Maybe you hold on to your Xbox One X, and instead of having a 4K 60 experience, maybe you got a 4K 30 frames experience, but you're playing the games, right? So I think a lot of that's going to depend on how all that shakes out in a couple years, and just what approach Microsoft is going to take to market these next gen consoles. But I bring all that up, and obviously you can comment on that, Danny. But since you weren't here last week when Pete and I were talking about it, just what's your thoughts on these two consoles, the cloud one and the traditional one?
I think, and you're right, Paris, it's all about the marketing, because if they just release this and it's confusing for a consumer, that's the same mistakes that Nintendo made with the original Wii and their Wii U. It was confusing as hell, right? But if they manage to do it in a way that everybody knows what it is, and this, and educate the regular consumers, then yeah, they're fine. Because even going way back to the launch of the Xbox 360, there were different versions of 360s that was out, and the marketing was top notch. People, they had a choice. Hey, should I go with the all out, more expensive console, or should I just go and buy the cheaper version? It's all about marketing and educating people, man. So as long as it's not confusing, then they're good. Now, the part that you're saying about no one gets left behind, I think that's possible. That as an owner of Xbox One X, let's say I don't have the money to buy the new consoles, and I could still play those same exact games on the One X, then I could just, there's no rush for me to buy the new console. I could just wait maybe until the time is right. Once I get the money, then I could upgrade. It's the same thing as a PC. I think there's going to be certain features or certain things that you're not going to get because you have the Xbox One X. But if you buy the newer version, then you get the top notch graphics, everything like you said. I think that's possible too. So now the thing is, I wonder how much the streaming version is going to cost. That's the thing I'm very curious, because personally, I don't have the speed to stream those games and straight from the console. I'd rather buy the premium version, which I could just download the games and go with that. So your thoughts? You think it's going to be cheaper than $200, or?
We answered this all last week, so why don't you go back and listen? How about that?
Well, I need to listen.
I think it's 99. I think it's $99. I think it's $99. That's what I think. That's
$99.
Wow. Anything above that, why? I mean, because if you think about it, at that point, if we get into the $150, $200 range, I mean, hell, go buy an Xbox One X or something. At that point, in 2020. Now you're talking the price of a current gen console. If you really want mass adoption of the streaming service, because like we said last week, I think there's going to be a subscription tied to being able to stream. So you want to get people into the ecosystem. You want people paying every month for that subscription service. If on top of that, I got to spend $250 to just get the little piece of hardware that's actually going to allow me to stream, that's cost prohibitive at that point. I don't think I want to do that. So I think a good entry into that, you just give it away for $100. That way people are getting it, they're subscribing to the cloud service, and they're playing the games, and they're buying games on that. The Game Pass, whatever, the subscription winds up being that gets you into that ecosystem. Anything above that, people are going to be hesitant because, again, it is cloud streaming. At that point, it is still, even in 2020, still going to be considered a novelty concept. And this, again, goes back to being in the United States and having the bandwidth to actually do all this stuff. And they're going to have to prove that cloud gaming actually works one for one. Can I play multiplayer games when I'm doing cloud streaming and I'm not going to have lag? All that. There's a lot that rides with, again, their marketing and messaging of this stuff. And the best thing they can do is make this as consumer friendly as possible. And by doing that is, even if it's a slight loss, give that hardware away, make it as cheap as you possibly can, and set Scarlet. Maybe Scarlet is $500. But you also say that Scarlett, we've improved the CPU. We got the latest, GPU technology, all that. We're doing 4K, 60 frames, all the bells and whistles, blah, 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 to make it worth that price. I think 500 is a mistake personally, but it won't shock me if it's 500. I think if Xbox wants success in 2020 and PlayStation goes right along with it, if they want success with the traditional consoles, $399 tops at launch. Anything above that, you're risking losing your market share, especially PlayStation, because PlayStation has established $399 as their price point, because that's what the PS4 was. That's what the PS4 Pro was. It was $399. So if I'm a PlayStation consumer, I expect it to be the PS5 to be $399. Anything above that, I'm getting concerned. And I think Xbox would be smart to meet them at that same price point and not keep charging us $500 for their consoles at launch.
I think a streaming box at $99, and you said as soon as you said consumer, the gears in my brain started creaking and smoking, because they've always tried to tout their Microsoft Game Store, right? You have Game Pass. Imagine this: what if Cortana enabled streaming game device built into that functionality built into, because you think $100, that's basically an Amazon Echo or an Alexa, an Alexa enabled device, or a Google Mini, what is the Google Home Mini, or whatever it is that you guys, whatever it is that they have. Same concept, functions similarly, and allows you to have access to the Microsoft Store, whether it's streaming videos, video marketplace content, whether it's the latest Avengers movie or the latest Marvel movie, etc., on your Xbox, whatever, Scarlett streaming device. I think it's a really good opportunity for them to not only embrace the digital home media ecosystem, but as well as gaming in general. I think for $100, I think that would be an awesome introduction for them. Give people that set-top box that supports everything that they want to do. You want the hardcore gaming device, and you get the hardcore gaming unit. You want something that just sits next to your TV and gives you video games as well as home media and stuff like that. I think it's a good in between.
Personally, Paris, I agree with you about keeping it cheap, the streaming device, but I think they're not going to start off right away too cheap. I think maybe they'll have it $149 the first year, and then next year, the following year after that, that's when Sony probably released their new console. And if they're going to compete, making $99 right during the time that it's coming out to compete with Sony. I think that's personally my opinion. I just don't see them saying $99 day one. I don't see that happening. $149 maybe. You quiet? All right. So I guess he doesn't care. All right. So
what do you want me to say? I've already given my opinion. You said should I be you and say and argue your opinion, because you love to tell me my opinion's wrong. I'm like, hey, it's its opinion. Let it go.
Yeah. Well, I'm just because you love.
I'm surprised you didn't say that they're going to release 8 SKUs of this thing. That's what I'm surprised.
No, they should. They should 8 versions, different colors. Oh no. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for listening to episode 783. Make sure to hit us up. Send us emails. Let us know what games you recommend, questions, feedback, all that. And find us different podcast directories, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Wow, somebody just fell in the background. And that's about it. Thank you for listening. Anything else, guys?
Wow.
He's done with Elgato. He's done. 4K gone. Oh my God. He's mad.
You need Baymax in your life, bro. Are you satisfied with your service?
All right. Until next time. We're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Thank you for listening to Gamertag Radio. If you'd like to donate and help us out for future events and more coverage and also better audio equipment, head over to donate.gamertagradio.com. That's donate.gamertagradio.com. Thank you.